Welcome back to episode 130 of the Disorganized Wizard Club podcast. My name is Alex. I'm here as always with Adam.
Hello.
And Cam.
Hey.
And we're a group of auto-based players that play just about anything and everything we can qualify for. We talk about decks, tournament stories, just about anything to help you and ourselves get better at Magic.
Most definitely. In fact, we have proof that that's the case, that we helped everybody get better at magical cards.
Mm-hmm. This past weekend was the first inaugural DWC Organizational, hosted by you, Adam.
Yeah. And our social media manager, Benson, doing a lot of back-end work for me while I was sort of streaming it. It was really hyped to stream it, actually. Because of the way Arena works, I had to do it through screen share with whoever was playing. So we didn't get perfect information. But yeah, and it was super fun. There's a lot going on. Now I know for the future that you need probably a minimum of 3 to 4 people to run a tournament efficiently. Like just at least, you know what I mean? Like it's just not viable with the two of us. There were so many kind of issues, but it was sweet because it was a test run and we're planning on doing another one.
Yeah.
So stay tuned for that.
Good old friend of the show, ABJ, he's been on. We've had him on once, right?
Yeah. Pro Tour competitor, Ugly Red.
Took it down with Grix's control.
Yeah.
All these lists actually are posted. I'll post them with the show as well, but they're all posted on MTG Canada. Top 4 decks.
Yeah, wizardtower.com, proud sponsor of this podcast.
Yeah, longtime sponsor since day one. Check them out for all your Magic single needs. Wizardtower.com.
Yeah, free shipping on singles in Canada on orders $15 or more.
Yeah.
But yeah, pretty cool top 4 deck lists we posted. Yeah, the pricing for this tournament was insane, by the way, if you didn't get to play. Not that many people ended up signing up. Some people had to drop out. It was Mother's Day on a Sunday, so I think some people had some Mother's Day things, but...
You could have won a box to give to your mom.
Yeah, first place was a War of the Spark box. Second place was a play set of shocks of second place's choice. Third and fourth, we are sending some singles out to them. We're just deciding, but yeah, it was kind of based on attendance, but pretty sweet top 4. The whole tournament had some sweet deck lists in it.
Yeah, Grixis Control taking it down. Second place was Bant Midrange with the Explore package. We had a Grixis Midrange Judith deck.
This is a sweet list.
This deck was wild. And not only that, Blocks was the person who played this list. Lost in the semis. I was on stream, on coverage, in an incredibly close match.
Oh, yeah.
That was like a game 3 that was, he was stuck on 3 lands for maybe like 12 turns, and the game was close.
Yeah, it was surprising.
He just never drew a 4th land. And if you look at his deck list, this man needs a 4th land.
That's a lot of 4 drops.
You need some 4. Yeah.
Including what Sift costs 4, right?
Yeah.
He's playing Sift.
Playing 2 Sift. Yeah, no, this list is insane. It's really, really unique. But yeah, he did really well. Like he breezed through the Swiss and lost a really close semifinals. You know what I mean? Like I feel like if he hits his 4th land, he wins that game. That's how even in sort of close the game was in game 3.
What did he play against in the semis?
Bant Flash, like the Bant deck that lost in the finals. Yeah, and it was close. Like, I don't know. Like this deck list is wild. I meant to get around to playing it. I was just busy this week, but I'm gonna play it eventually. It's really sweet. It's a really unique list.
Cool. And then 4th place was Mono White Aggro Splash and Blue for your boy Teferi.
Yeah, basically just main deck Teferis, which I think is a safe choice if you're worried about Nexus at all.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, they're both kind of tied 3rd and 4th. It was just semifinalists, you know. But yeah, one of the top 4 lists. Yeah, it's wild. Grixis mid-range deck if you want to check it out. I want to say Ugly Red's first place though. He just played super, super well. If anyone watches the stream, just played and sideboarded extremely well. Just really cool to see if anyone wants to go back and watch the stream or talk to him about the deck list. He's in our Discord, which you can always feel free to join. And I think he'd be happy to talk about how the matchups went. I did some winners interviews with him after some matches, and his sort of take on how the deck needs to play out and what's happening was quite insightful. So I think it's good for players. And again, that's the whole point of doing the DWC Organizational, right? Is to help you and ourselves get better at Magic.
Yeah, and so the VODs are up on our channel.
Yeah, they're on Twitch.
Yeah, twitch.tv/Disorganized Wizard Club if you want to go check that out.
Yeah, I don't know how long they store for. Maybe only a week or 2. So because they don't store forever.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
It's a short amount of time, but yeah, you can check them out on there. I should have saved them and just uploaded them to a YouTube channel too. Maybe for the next one we'll do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so hopefully people can play in the next organizational we hold. This was sort of a trial run, but it was super fun, and people can. This is a good way to practice. Like people had to play. People played real decks to win this. You know what I mean? Because the prizes is insane.
Yeah.
So.
Definitely.
Like he even said in his winners interview, he's like, "Man, this is the best return on investment I've ever made." He's like, you know, he's like, "And I didn't even put on pants."
That's the best part.
Yeah.
Putting on pants is a massive investment, and I often don't get a return for it.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Is there ever a return for it?
I don't get arrested usually, but I guess that's pretty good.
Does that count as a return?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Opportunity cost, maybe?
No, it's something that people are giving to you for the investment you made.
But that's not a tangible thing, you know?
Not being arrested?
Yeah, it's not tangible.
What do you mean it's not tangible? I can touch things that are not a prison cell
Well, no, because
wall.
you don't know for sure that you're going to get arrested either.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right?
true.
Schrodinger's cell. Should I put these pants on or not? What happens?
We got a lot to discuss this week. Cam and I are heading to SCG Syracuse. Today is Thursday night. We're leaving tomorrow night. Going to be in Syracuse all weekend playing some Standard. First SCG event for me. I've never played in one before.
I played in a team SCG once.
Yeah,
They're cool. They're like GPs, but
smaller.
run by different people.
I don't know. I'm pretty excited. I've never been to Syracuse. Yeah, never played in SCG. I think it's going to be fun.
Yeah, I'm excited for this dino barbecue people keep talking up.
Yeah, we're definitely going to have to make our way over there.
Yeah, but the problem is it's just going to be incredibly packed because it's become like a meme because ever since like Patrick Sullivan talked about how good it was.
Yeah.
And now he like won't even go there because it's too busy. But yeah, it's definitely worth it.
Right, but like when do they open? You just go there for breakfast.
Yeah, just go there like immediately when the event ends. Otherwise, you're going to be waiting in line for like an hour and a half. But I mean, we waited for an hour, which isn't that bad really because we just stand around talking and it wasn't that cold out. So, and it'll be nice out when you guys are there. So, but yeah, get the platter, get the combo platter. Make sure you get ribs, brisket, and pulled pork.
Okay.
Go for the whole, yeah.
No questions there,
Yeah,
man.
make sure you pop off.
But
I'm so jealous I'm not going to be there.
with SCG Syracuse being Standard, been playing a bunch. Still don't really know where I'm at for this tournament.
I just have this overwhelming sense of discontent with everything I've played. I don't know what deck I want to play. I don't know if I have cards for what deck I want to play. Because of my indecision, I don't know if I'll be able to get cards to play what I decide to want to play. So I don't know.
I don't know. I've tried a little bit of everything, but the deck I've played the most is different variations of Bant. And I think I'm settled on, for sure, playing some 75 of Bant cards I own at this weekend. I just don't know what that 75 will be yet. There's a few different ways you can build the deck. You know, the Bant Flash, like Vivian deck that was top-aided SCG Richmond.
Yep.
It's still been putting up some results in IQs and stuff. You could also play the Explore package if you're a little bit more worried about mono red, like Benson did in the DWC Organizational. But really, there's just so many options with that deck because there's just so many good Bant cards that I have no idea what I want to do.
Yeah, the core is really just mana dorks to Fairy 3 to sort of buy you time in the early game and shore up, just against Control decks and Nexus in particular, but just to Fairy 3 to sort of smooth everything together after you played your dorks. Crisis for card advantage, Boketra, because she's nuts.
Yeah.
And then just kind of anything else. You can fill those gaps sort of however you want.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I just don't know what to do. It's just everything I've tried has felt okay, but nothing has really jumped out at me as this is the way to do it. And sideboard's still up in the air. No, because I can't even figure out the main deck. So, and it's gonna be a lot of stuff to figure out tonight.
Yeah, I don't even know what sort of feedback I would accept as informing me that the list I'm playing is what I want to be playing. Because what people are playing is changing so quickly currently. As people try a bunch of different things, people try a bunch of different versions. So I don't know what's going to show up. There isn't really you can guess kind of at like the meta, but there isn't a super defined like, oh, I need these cards for this. You can kind of have like cards targeting archetypes at the moment. But even then, like, there's just so much going on. And like, yeah, I don't know. Every list I've been playing, I'll like have games where it seems fine, and then I'll have other games where it seems like trash in the same matchup. Like, and I don't know.
There's been some really wild Planeswalker decks on ladder as well. Have you guys played against the Jeskai Planeswalker deck at all?
Oh yeah, I played against it lots.
Oh man,
For a couple weeks. It's been around for a while now.
yeah,
I played against just blue-white, not Jeskai.
yeah. No, I've seen a lot of the Jeskai deck with like Sarkhan and stuff, and it's like really
Sarkhan is just extremely threatening. It's really proactive and aggressive. It's surprising. It's actually really frustrating to play against on occasion because sometimes you just get pinched and you don't have an answer for it and you just get smashed by 4 Planeswalkers for 16.
Man, speaking of, so like, I think to go back to a reoccurring segment that I think's only happened like once or twice, wacky stuff I've lost to. I played against a Grixis deck that like played a Soul Diviner on turn 2. And I was like, oh, okay, that's Soul Diviner. I wonder where they'll get counters.
Dreadhorde Invasion.
No, then they played a Kiora,
Okay.
which they can take a counter off to draw a card, and then they can untap their Soul Diviner and draw a card.
That's actually nuts.
So that was nuts. They were also playing Enter the God Eternals, which draws a card from Kiora's passive, and then you can take the counters off of.
Yeah.
And they just had Sarkhan in this deck too. They also cast, because Kiora untapped a dual land, it fixed their mana and ramped. They cast a turn 4 Nicol Bolas Dragon God.
nice.
This deck sounds awesome.
I'm listening.
Anytime I went to like contempt or attack a Planeswalker for lethal, they just drew cards off the counters and let it go. I just got smashed. They had like 10 extra cards than me, and I just couldn't do anything and died to Sarkhan. It was impressive.
Jeez, this deck sounds sweet.
Yeah, Grixis wasn't what I thought of when I was thinking about Kiora.
Yeah, I mean, the format just feels still so
Like wide open.
yeah, wide open. Like from all the articles I've been reading, the podcasts I've been listening to, a lot of people have been talking about how good Esper Hero is, but like that deck can be clunky sometimes. And like you guys, like I played a little bit of it, and I kind of had the same experience of you guys that like your heroes just always die, and then like
That's fine though. Like, so having a card that, like, complaining that your heroes always die is this. Like, people have already gotten over complaining that their Steamkins always die in red, but people still play Steamkin. It's the same thing. That game, it doesn't. It just does a ton. So that part's fine. The problem, well, it's the experience I've had with Esper, and it's kind of the experience I've had with every list I've tried, which is what's sort of led to my discontent, is that I'll like switch archetypes to something that just smashed me. Kind of playing rank tankers on my own. And I'll like play a bunch and go like 5-0, 5-1. It'll be like nuts. I'll be like, oh, this is awesome. But like some games were awkward, or the games I lost, I didn't like this. So I'll change the list slightly. I'll change like 2 cards. And then I cannot pay for a win with the archetype. I'll just like have mana troubles or flood, or like get paired against wacky matchups that just like hard counter me and I just get smashed. So I switch back to whatever other deck I was trying previously, continue to get smashed with that one, switch to some new archetype, win, didn't get smashed.
it's just a vicious cycle, man.
Yeah, I feel like if I play a deck I've never played before at the SCG, I'll win my first 5 rounds and then lose. That's just like, feels like the trend I'm on. But anyway, I've been playing a bunch of different lists because of this. Esper Hero being one that I've been interested in because I kind of really want to play Sorin. I really like where Sorin is. A lot of people are just playing Planeswalkers. In particular, the Planeswalkers that tick down to 1 are popular. And because you have these snowbally cards like Hero and Thief, oftentimes people have to take their Planeswalkers down. If you're on the play and you play a Thief and then they play a Teferi 3 and minus on your Thief, you get to sword and kill it. If they ever have to tick down a Teferi 5, you get to kill it. Dragon God, Ugin, all these things, like, is really useful there. And it brings back these snowbally cards, so they continue to have to answer them. So, like, I like the idea of the deck. I just don't know what else I want around it. Like, if it's consistent enough doing this, yeah. But it definitely has games where it just, like, kind of grinds its opponent into the dirt, but, like, very slowly, because all of its cards are, like, so threatening that when Sorin finally brings back a Thief that sticks, like, you just kind of run away with the game. And it has, like, Liliana, Teferi 5, like all these cards can kind of snowball. So despite the fact that it has all these powerful cards that kind of run away with the game, I can't quite put my finger on what I think is wrong with the deck. Like, well, I have some thoughts. One is that, like, because you need these cards to snowball, they have to stick around. And so if you don't deploy them on time, you can't catch back up. So, like, if you can't hero on 2, or if you can't thief on 3 because, like, your mana's bad or whatever, and your opponent sort of has done anything, then it's almost too late in the game for these cards to compete anymore. So I'm not super stoked about that. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the 4-drop slot should be. Like, I was trying Seraph for the scales for a while. Then there are matchups where it just gets bounced or exiled and doesn't do anything. Some people are playing Elite Guard Mage now, which sort of gives you some velocity and your card advantage, life against red. But then I tried that and played against a version with Seraph for the scales, and it just didn't do anything. So, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, that
Too
card's
many
pretty
options.
underwhelming.
Yeah.
It's sweet. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm all about some just, dirtily Mull Drifter,
Yeah.
essentially. The problem is, like, it actually sucks. Like, it's too underpowered. I don't think you can justify playing that card.
It should probably just be hostage takers.
Right. There has to be better options. You're telling me that the 4-mana 2/3 flyer that's a game 3 cycle is like a standard playable at almost full standard? I just don't buy it. You know what I mean? Like, is a Planeswalker just not better in that slot? Like, what is a 2/3 flyer gaining you? Because it doesn't really contest anything else that flies, which is already an
Yeah,
issue.
that's the annoying part.
Like, it's too small to ever. Has it ever like won combat for you? That was the problem I had with it.
It does
just,
against red. Like, it's nuts against red.
Yeah. Against red, it's really good. But like Bellhaunt is better.
Yeah, you
against
just bring
red
in
anyway.
Bellhaunts, yeah.
But yeah, Bellhaunt's worse in other matchups too. I don't know. It's close.
Yeah. Yeah,
It might just be a restriction based on color, that there aren't multicolored 4-drop slots like that are great.
Yeah, it's like, it could just be that it's supposed to be Seraph. It could just be that maybe, I don't know, I've been looking around, but maybe it's just supposed to be more 3-drops. Because, like, okay,
Yeah.
here's been like another crazy idea I've had that I was telling Stelly about in the car. I think you overheard the tail end of it. But I haven't been happy with my games playing Esper Hero where I cast Thought Erasure on turn 2. Like, yeah, sometimes it's fine. But it feels like it kind of, it sounds like on paper, like it's good. It's a card you want to play. It's in all the control decks. It's in every Grixis deck. It's multicolored, plays with your hero well. But does it actually play with your hero well? Because there's this issue that I was talking about that, like, if this deck's a turn behind, it's actually like 2 turns behind because it sort of needs this velocity. And taking turn 2 off to Thought Erasure, like, sets back the development of your snowball cards. It's something that, like, doesn't really interact with your Sorens. Like, I don't know. I feel like the games that I had where my opponents struggled the most were the ones where I play a hero, they kill it. That's fine. Then I play a thief. They can't really deploy anything because they want to kill that. Then you play a Soren, you bring back either of those, usually thief. Now they would prefer to kill your thief, so your Soren sticks around. And then you do kind of anything else. And so, like, your Soren is best when they've been forced to answer your early things. Forcing them to answer your early things delays their development. And there's not really room to fit Thought Erasure in there. If you fit Thought Erasure into any of those turns, except for maybe the 4th one, then, like, they get to play whatever else. Like, you take one thing from their hand, but they just play something else usually. Like, hands in Standard are redundant enough. And now you don't have anything in your graveyard, so your Soren just has to plus, and then they can kill it. Or, like, when you do play a thief, they have things on board, they can start pressuring you. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy.
So you're saying that maybe Thought Erasure needs to get out of the deck.
I don't know. Like, I realize that it sounds wild, but I also feel like if it's a deck built on making it awkward for your opponent to do their game plan because they have to answer particular parts of your cards, that just, like, some other 2-drop, some other something to give the deck a bit more speed would be better.
Yeah, I just, like, don't know what other option there possibly is.
Yeah,
you know what
that's
I mean?
the other
Like,
problem. Maybe it's just the best in the slot. But
And also, like, there is still probably games where you're on the play and you just turn 2 Thought Erasure into Thief and you took their answer and they just die.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Like, I don't know. Yeah, I see what you're saying. I definitely see what you're saying, because when Esper Hero falls behind, it just feels helpless. Like, it can never, ever come back because you're just playing 3-mana 2/2s.
and yeah, I mean, that definitely was like in those first 5 games I won with the deck. That definitely happened. Like, there was a game you Thought Erasure, you play a thief, your thief starts hitting. But then after that, it just felt like, the whole, like, you can't Thought Seize off the library. And so I'm trying to, like, be objective about this, but it happened, like, so many games where, like, I Thought Erasure, my opponent has 2 search for his canna and, like, something else. You take whatever, next turn you play a thief, it dies because they drew the answer. Like, I don't know. It could just be confirmation bias, which is why I want to go try some things. but I just, yeah.
I don't know. I wouldn't play Esper Hero, like Esper midrange at an event like this, just because I don't think it has free wins actually.
That too.
And I feel like it's just a deck that just loses to itself on occasion because it has these like super clunky control draws game one where like, yeah, it can answer the first few things and then it draws Hero and Thief or something like for its turns 5 and 6 and it just has to play like a Grizzly Bear and a 3-mana 2/2 while your opponent is just slamming like Hydroid Crisis and you're just so behind in playing junky creatures.
Yeah, that's definitely a problem. And yet,
the deck is still really good though.
Yeah, like for every time that happens, there's also games where like, you know, you have a Sorin that just keeps bringing back something. Like the game's going like super long and you just bring a Thief back every other turn and like your opponents eventually die. Like I played a game. This is what kind of convinced me that there's something to the deck that maybe I could salvage or that I would be happy playing a version of, is that I played against Esper Control and did this. Like just Hero, they killed it. Thief, they killed it. Sorin brings stuff back. And it like, I thought I was super far behind because they had a Teferi 5 that they had plussed for like 10 turns. But I just kept drawing certain types of threats that they minused occasionally enough and kept doing whatever that like it ended up at a point where they didn't have enough cards left in their library to ultimate a Teferi in time. They just died. They just ran out of cards. Because, like, purely because of Sorin. So, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, it's still, like, we're still kind of all in the same boat. Like,
Yeah.
I have no idea what to do.
Dude, I'm telling you, just play as a Phoenix.
Why is it Phoenix?
Just play Phoenix and dunk on all the band decks who just don't have answers early and just get crushed by like a single Crackling Drake.
That too. I could just do that.
Like, how are they beating just a gigantic Crackling Drake? They ain't.
Also, yeah. So I've played.
Like, I don't think Bant can beat that deck.
I've played against it a couple times now with different archetypes, and for some reason I've just never tried it. But I imported the deck like right before I came to record this. Saheeli is also really obnoxious. Like I'm on board with that out of that deck. Like, yeah, they just get so much time, and they always have 5 cards in hand. Like,
Yeah, like I actually think Is It Phoenix is like amazing right now.
Mm-hmm.
I just think Bant has a horrendous Phoenix matchup.
Yeah, I think you're pretty right about that.
And Bant Pile is going to be like for sure the most played deck, right? Oh, well, maybe not, but I would be shocked if it's not.
Yeah, I think the top 3 decks will probably be Mono Red, Esper Midrange, and Bant Pile.
yeah, I mean that seems to be what's popular.
Yeah. Maybe Esper Control right underneath that.
Yeah, I mean, I think Esper Control will be everywhere. It's just so good. I think that's like the safe choice.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe like it's just so hard to say. Like a lot of people have been talking about how well blue white blue aggro is positioned right now. A lot of people in the MPL were playing it the past weekend. Like, is that deck just safe? I don't know.
That deck's also safe. That deck's also just a proactive safe choice. Has it ever really been super bad?
Not really.
Like, it's always been a good deck. Standard right now, like, I think you should just pick a deck that you're really comfortable playing your matchups with. Like, if somebody asked me, like, what would you play? I think I said this last week, like, when you asked, like, what would I play in the organizational? I said Bant only because I played so many games with it. And I'm just comfortable with sideboarding, comfortable with the matchups, what they look like. Like, I've seen all different iterations of what the games play out like. And I just felt like I didn't have a biased view of like, oh, this matchup's good for me, which is like so many people say that about their deck. Like, oh, I have no bad matchups. Like, okay, well, you're delusional then. Like, so I can't have a real conversation with you about your deck. Whereas like, I know what the bad matchups are. Like the Grixis control matchup's horrendous for Bant. Like for Bant Pile, it's awful. It's so bad. You have to win by Oketra or you can't win.
Yep.
That's literally your only option. And so, and they can deal with that. Like it's a horrible matchup, but I understand how to sideboard for it and what matters. And so like that is what you kind of have to lean on. I feel like right now in Standard is sort of like, what are the matchups I'm comfortable with? How do I know how to sideboard? Do I literally have a real sideboard guide prepared? Because for example, like when I was playing the Esper Hero list, I was playing the list that completely morphs into like Esper Control post board, right? Okay. Like you bring in like Narset, a Search for Iscanta, 2 Chemisters Insights, like full blown, you just turn into Esper Control. And like having that sideboard plan I won so many matches where I got smashed game 1 and then crushed them game 2 because they just couldn't deal with the sort of control package post board. It put their sideboarding into such a squeeze and like awkward position that it put them in a weird spot where, yeah, I still had Thief of Sanity, but if they killed it a bunch, I'd bring it back with Sorin while just eventually I'd get them with a Sorin while just countering and killing everything else they played and not really playing any other creature. So like that sideboard plan was like really, really, really powerful where you just like otherwise are playing a control deck with a Sorin Thief of Sanity loop and you just cut all other creatures basically. So like, yeah, I feel like right now so much of the success and standard that you can have is just based on what comes in and what comes out. Because I played so many games with this Esper mid-range list or matches, and I don't think I ever won a game 1. But I won so many matches. I just won post board constantly because I knew what was going on. I knew the decks in standard. And I just feel like right now, that's sort of the key of going on. You can play whatever list you want. I sort of said this to somebody recently too. I was like, just play whatever. It doesn't matter. Like, yeah, it matters a little, but if you know what your matchups should look like, right, you should be okay.
I think most of my sort of discontent and inability to decide what I want to play has been coming from like the opposite issue that you were just talking about, where people think they have good matchups across the board. They think their deck's nuts. I've been like playing decks, and if I don't like 5-0, I'm like, maybe this isn't good enough. I don't know where maybe it's like a thing of Arena that I need to learn to adapt to. Because before Arena, like I've just been playing side events at like GPs and stuff since Arena was really big, since I've been playing it a bunch. And so this like preparation and testing for a main event I haven't done outside of paper. And the amount of games you can play testing in paper, I'd play like an FNM or like do some testing with friends. If I like high rolled for a couple games, I'd be like, oh, this deck's sweet. And then I'd start thinking about sideboarding and matchups, and then I'd feel confident and I'd go play. But now I'll like win 4 in a row or win 5 in a row and then keep playing the deck and then lose 4 in a row, which is about what you would expect because, it's a game of variance. And then I get convinced that it's not good enough. So this is something I guess I personally have to adapt to, is like taking a more objective look at statistics and like results of decks when there's so much more volume. Because I've just been bouncing around without focus, and like it landed me here.
Yeah, I get that feeling that happened to me. And then I sort of just realized to look at like, well, what are the games normally supposed to play out like?
Yeah.
Like if I lose, I'm like, well, this seemed extreme. Like the times where you're talking about with Esper Hero, where it's like, you just play tap land. It's like, that's like not normal. You know what I mean? So I don't really take those like too seriously.
Yeah, and like looking back, there were also games I lost because it was definitely just like my opponent has cast 2 Growth Spirals, 2 Chemister's Insights, and like something else, and we have the same number of lands.
Right, yeah.
And like, yeah, looking back after a while, I can like realize objectively that like, yeah, those were outliers, and like I've trying to think about, my win rate overall with all the decks I've been playing is fine. I would probably be fine taking any of these decks to SCG. I just, because of the volume of games, I'm left like not happy with anything less than like an 80% win rate.
Yeah, no, I think that's like a normal feeling a lot of people are going to start encountering when they're playing arena games and stuff. Everything seems to move so much faster now.
Yeah, there's just, especially now with how many sets there are, it's such a big standard. There's just so many options, and like nothing's really solved.
No, nothing will be. I don't think at this point. There's too many options.
Mm-hmm. Can we just call this episode Discontent Wizards Club? Because that's what I'm feeling.
I like it. I like that it's a mess.
Yeah, it's fun. And I've been enjoying it on Arena and like locally and like inside events. But as soon as it's like make a choice and like purchase cards to like go somewhere, I'm like, maybe I'll just stay home.
Yeah, man. I don't know, man. It's just, maybe I should just like net deck, be a filthy net decker and just take anything and stop worrying
probably
so
also
much.
fine.
Like,
yeah, it's also fine. I'm sure as long as you sort of understand like what goes in, what goes out. Like this is the kind of weekend in the spot in standard where things are so diverse, but also so known that you need a sideboard guide because there's so much going on in so many different decks that you won't be able to remember everything is in for what. I would actually, normally, like, I'm not always like you have to have a sideboard guide kind of person, but I feel like standard's at the point now where it's like way too diverse and there are way too many options that you actually need to sort of consider actually making a guide for yourself. You know what I mean? Because there's just so many decks doing all these different things, and you need to really like plot your sideboard out. I think that's just the most important thing for this weekend is to have a sideboard for decks that you expect to be there, and sort of what understand your matchups and like what you can sacrifice in particular matchups. Like I think Simic Nexus still shows up.
Think so?
Yeah, that deck's still good.
Is it?
Yeah.
There's also like,
I mean, it's all like the 4th most or 5th most played deck on Moto with the best results, right?
there's also a phenomenon because of this like volume of games that I think's been causing me issues. I think people also perceive the metagame as shifting much quicker than it actually will in paper. People bought paper cards, and not everyone is going to buy more paper cards as quickly as they switch decks on Arena or on Moto.
Yeah. Like I wouldn't be surprised if Nexus is still like pretty common. I think you probably see a big uptake in Is It Phoenix this weekend. Like I just think there's a lot of Drakes and Phoenix decks this weekend. Just because I think they have good Simic, matchups. Post board. Game 1, it's not very good. It's pretty bad. Just don't have anything actually in game 1, right? Post board though, it's pretty good. And like there was a lot more Esper control previously, and that's like a kind of natural predator for them. And so there's less, it feels like there's less Esper control around nowadays, right? Like there was a while where it's the most played deck.
Yeah. It's swapped to like hero variants and band range
which
variants.
which is good for you.
Yeah.
As Phoenix.
Yeah, those are good matchups for you, and those decks hate out your bad matchups.
Yeah, exactly. So like meta-wise, like it's not bad, right? For Phoenix, like it's pretty well positioned. And the finale versions are awesome.
Yeah, that card does so much in the deck. I'm surprised because, like, yeah, it read good on paper, but then I played against it, and they just like had run out of resources. They brought back Phoenix a couple times, but like I killed them. They had one card, and I was like, oh, okay, maybe finally they don't bring back Phoenix this turn.
Wrong.
And then they just tap 4 mana, finale, like Charticors, draw a bunch, like lightning strike me.
Yeah.
Here come all these.
I don't know. Like when it comes to Phoenix, I'm kind of worried that maybe we've already missed the boat on that deck though, because like last weekend it crushed, and like maybe the cat's out of, maybe the cat's out of the bag now though. But that's what everyone looks at now these days, right?
Yeah, sort of. But it's like I don't think people go that deep generally.
Like if you're
not for SCG, man, they're so slow moving.
Yeah, in paper it's slower, and also if that's your concern that like the archetype I want to play did well at some point in the past, then like you have to constantly play Bruce.
No, like what I'm saying is I think it kind of caught a few people off guard last week and like was really well positioned for that weekend. But now like everyone can prepare for it.
Yeah, but like, will they? I don't think they do.
Maybe.
Like what decks even, you know what I mean?
I'm not sure. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think everyone else would be theoretically in the same boat as you then. They don't know. Like, they're not sure. Sure, they might think that, but...
Well, there's definitely a lot more smarter people than me going to this tournament who probably have a better grasp on what's going on than I do. But
I doubt that.
Dude, there's so much happening that, like, I don't know. It doesn't feel like there's a consensus anywhere, really. Like,
That's what I'm saying. Like,
every article that gets written of, like, here's my take on the meta and, like, what I think I should... They're all, like, wildly different. They all change. Like, everyone seems to think that something different is happening.
Yeah, that's what I'm
The
saying.
only person who really understands the meta is Benson.
The one thing I would do to be safe, though, is pack, if you're playing a black deck, pack extra cast downs in your 75.
Why?
Well, because they kill Thief of Sanity, Hero, and all the Drakes.
Yeah.
It does do that.
Right? Which are and it's just good against Bant too.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can use it to kill anything against Bant. If you're playing black based decks or anything like that, like I would probably have a bunch in my 75, because they deal with Crackling Drake. Like normally I'd just say play Tyrant Scorn, but actually Drake is a problem. And even just maybe you have to tag a Phoenix and they cost 4.
Yeah.
So cast down actually really good, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Now, if you're worried about Phoenix,
if you're worried about those kind of things, but also what I'm getting at is that cast down also just has cross applications in the meta period.
Mm-hmm.
Like it kills red creatures. It kills, you know what I mean? The only thing it's bad against is main deck is control. Sure. You don't even have to main deck. And I'm saying you can have extra copies in your sideboard. I just think right now is just a clean Doomblade is probably pretty good in your sideboard.
Yeah.
I like that.
Which is why I was sort of an advocate in the pre-show for the bug lists, because the bug list I played had like 2 Assassin's Trophy, 2 cast down main, and then extra cast downs in the sideboard. And I just felt like I never lost to Esper Hero even close, because I just had cast down for all the like early threatening problems, and then, you know, just make sure you don't lose to hostage taker after that. Whereas Bant just loses to hostage taker, right? And then you also have your own hostage takers. You're good versus them. I don't know. Bugless, pretty good, man. But I don't know what the perfect list is for it, you know? It's hard to say.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you get an 80, 95% win rate, I'm not happy with it. So
I'll try and get one for you.
no, I need that win rate.
Okay, well, good luck.
Yeah, I've been trying.
Yeah, I don't know what I'd play. I would honestly this weekend I would really start considering bug decks, because like before you couldn't play it because of Nexus. You just can't play that day. Yeah, you know.
No, you're gonna have a hard time.
Yeah, but you can beat them now post board. It's not that bad. You know, you have 4 Thought Erasers in the sideboard if you want, and plus the version I was playing has Thief of Sanity. So sometimes you just turn 2 Thief of Sanity against Nexus and you get them. Sometimes you just flip their search and you lose, but you know, it is what it is, man.
Question about your cast down thing. And so in like, yeah, black decks cast down, I agree with your points. But if you were to play bug, what about Crawl Harpooner instead of cast down? Just because like it answers similar flying things that you're concerned about. And if you think Nexus will still show up, like it's sometimes just a fast enough clock against them. Like I used to bring it in when I had it.
It just like doesn't kill Hero too is like the issue.
Yeah.
It's like not.
Hero's the one.
Harpooner also kind of sucks against mono red.
Yeah.
So like the list I was playing had both in the sideboard though.
Oh, okay.
So, and it also had Thrashing Brontodons, which helped the aggro matchup and the Nexus matchup.
And I forgot about that card.
Yeah,
That was sweet.
Thrashing Brontodon is actually like really a safe sideboard card right now. It kind of covers the spread from a format that has a ton going on, because it's great versus Nexus. This is a fast clock off of Llanowar Elf. And then it's insane versus mono white and mono red. 4 toughness, right?
Yep.
Just the key number. Yeah, Thrashing Brontodon really good. Just a couple of Bronte boys. Get in there. But yeah, it's interesting. Like knowing how to sideboard right now is pretty tough. But yeah, the bug list just, it felt like when I played it had a lot of sort of sideboard options. Like I just had 4 Duress though. I didn't even have Thought Erasers. 4 Duress to end at 1 negate in the sideboard for like the control and whatever. And just never had a problem because you just find finality them. That's the other thing. Like people used to be really sort of like built to dunk on bug, right? But like nobody, that's like kind of gone.
Yeah, it's off
People,
everyone's radar.
Left that deck alone.
Mm-hmm.
And it has a good Drake's matchup. It always has. Not good, but like, you know, with cast downs. If you're playing cast downs mate, it definitely does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can put Crisis in the way of Drakes too.
Yeah, it got better. So it didn't have the best, but it got better with Crisis. And just when you have cast downs in the deck, it's better. So I don't know, man. I'm like pretty big on it. Plus you get to play Carnage Tyrant.
Yeah, I'll try it.
In that list, you just play a 1 or 2 of, which is something I'm still a big proponent of, because it's just like your way to win versus control. And if you're playing the bug list with 5 finalities and Memorial to Follies, then Kai's Wrath isn't just auto. You know what I mean? Like in Bant, I would never say play Carnage Tyrant. It just doesn't matter. There's Wrath it, and it's like just another generic guy. But in like a bug list where it can be recurring for control, it's like very important. And also it's like pretty good against Bant decks. It just smashes Planeswalkers.
Does attack for a lot.
Yeah, he's a meaty boy.
Yeah.
It's the time of the dinos, you know? But I don't know. Like, my only considerations for this weekend would be, for me, Bant or like some dumb Hydra Crisis deck, really, is what I'm saying. Some dumb mid-range deck that I'm sure I'd regret playing, but
That's another card
dumb mid-range decks
that I want to play is Crisis. I mean, I guess this is a nod to like how good the format actually is, in that in formats past, if there was so many less options that I'd sort of be like, yeah, all the powerful-ish cards I want to play are in this deck, and the choice was obvious. But now it's like I want to play a deck with Crisis and Explore and Sorin and Thief.
Yeah, Thief and like,
which I guess is good, right? There's like a lot of powerful options, a lot of wide range of colors, and it leads to interesting deck building.
Well, you forgot Teferi in there too, right? Teferi 3.
Yeah, right. Teferi.
Tanyo.
Those are like I want all those cards in my deck, and I can't do it.
Yeah.
You know, I should just go play EDH. Put one of each of those in and have some
there's
fun.
a solution here. You just play the Niv Mizzet deck.
Oh yeah, Niv Mizzet Reborn.
Yeah.
Ooh,
That's all the cards you want.
I don't know what more could you possibly want.
Yeah, nothing actually.
Yeah, that deck is
Wow, I can play Soren, pick him up.
We were playing.
And then bring back Niv.
Did you watch the stream at all when Cam and I were playing it on stream?
We got
No, I didn't.
wrecked.
Dude,
It's blowout of the week.
Yeah, dude, we got wrenched. But we did win all the other things. We were like locked to win.
Yeah.
We were just out there smashing. We were like conceding matches early because we were streaming the event. We'd have to like just concede the match because we were busy. But like we were like crumpling people for a while, and then we like play out a Niv Mizzet, and we have like a Knight of Ottoman play at a 4-3, and we like tick up the Teferi to 8, and we're like, man, what a stomp, because we like killed the guys like enchantment.
We're
like,
playing
killed
against Gates.
Yeah, we're playing against Gates. We're like, man, what a oh yeah, we like Knight of Autumned his Guild Colossus.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
And like, yeah, I think we got a guild summit earlier. Like we were just stomping him, just had every answer. We're like, man, this guy's getting dunked. Like, what a beating. We like play the Teferi, like tick the Teferi up to 8, like pass with like a Niv Mizzet Reborn, a Knight of Autumn, a Teferi on 8, like something else. The guy just like untaps and like mass manipulations us for 3. And
Takes
we're
everything.
takes our Knight of Autumn, our Niv Mizzet, and our Teferi.
And then ults our Teferi
Yeah, just
immediately.
instantly ults our Teferi. We're like, huh.
I'm dying.
Yeah, dude, we were like laughing. We were like, man, absolutely just ranching this guy because we had like a Tamio.
He's
outs-
never going to beat this emblem.
Or no, we had like something else. So yeah, we had like a bunch of stuff. We're like, man, what a slaughter. Like, ha ha ha. Like, got him with the Niv as a deck. And then he just mass manipulations. And we just dead.
Turns out we're never going to beat this Teferi emblem.
Yeah.
Man, speaking of mass
I
manipulation,
was going to say, are we just like not going to talk about this deck?
Sam Black wrote about this deck, I think, yesterday.
It's so obnoxious to play against with creatures.
Dude, I got smashed by a 5-mana Nissa.
Yeah. Have you considered playing this deck at all?
I haven't considered it.
I think
but
it's real.
I think I agree with you. I just don't know.
So for people who don't know, do you want to talk about it at all?
Yeah, so it's just a Simic deck playing 12 mana dorks, and then you're playing Nissa, who shakes the world, and then mass manipulations and
Entrancing melodies.
entrancing melodies, and just taking your opponent's stuff and killing them with it.
Yeah, it's just a big mana Simic deck. You've got Crisis in there to refuel. And yeah, it just kind of runs over every other mid-range deck because like they have to play out things to pressure you, which plays into your entrancing melodies and mass manipulations.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's real easy to pop off with a mass manipulation with Nissa as well.
Yeah, Nissa's the type of planeswalker that like, because she just makes like, besides all the extra mana she makes, just producing 3/3s requires your opponent to have a board presence to answer Nissa, or they'll lose the 3/3s. And then you just take their board. It's really obnoxious to play against with mid-range.
Yeah, I only played against it once, and it smashed me.
Nissa 5's actually really, really, really good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's definitely. I mean, it's definitely good.
You love to see a plane-wide celebration, man. So, you know, I don't know if you saw this, but I posted a draft that I easily XO'd on Arena where I had Tamio plane-wide celebration in my draft deck. And then I took like 3 New Horizons so I could just ramp to this.
Mm-hmm.
Because then you can just loop Tamio and plane-wide celebration in draft for every turn. You know what I mean? Every
Yeah.
turn you're just casting one or the other or whatever. And eventually
Yeah.
you just cast both. Yeah.
That's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, like you just need to get there. If you get to that point in mana, like plane-wide celebration is like, I mean, is this just cryptic command? I mean, no, I'm just kidding. Like, what doesn't this card do? It's just a billion
It
for
does
one.
everything.
It's nuts.
Better than Cryptic Command.
Yeah, it's insane. Well, I mean, 7 mana, damn well better be.
get
And
to-
it's a sorcery.
You get to choose 4 things.
Yeah, not 2.
Strictly better.
Strictly better than cryptic command. You get some 2/2s out of the deal.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, anyway, this card seems goofy, but I mean, this is a deck that if it gets that kind of late, you know, play against like mid-range decks, like this is literally just a deck, yeah, like Cam said, that's just built to dunk on other mid-range decks, right? Like it's just taking advantage of mid-range decks. Doesn't
I also like the point that Sam Black brings up that I suppose he's quoting of Mike Sigrist, that like the presence of Teferi Time Raveler in the format has discouraged a lot of people from counterspells, and it's probably the main reason why like Esper Hero is replacing Esper Control, because people just want to play tap out versions of their archetype so that they're not got and like have cards blanked by Teferi Time Raveler. It's probably like why Grixis Control also doesn't care too much. They're just slamming threats every turn.
Yeah,
threats or answers.
yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. And in that kind of environment where people aren't playing counterspells and they're just tapping out to develop, your mass manipulation is good because they're just going to tap out for good things, and then they're not going to have any mana up to interact with you taking all those things.
Yeah, because like Grixis control doesn't. All I was gonna say is Grixis control doesn't even play counter magic.
Yeah,
they just off it because for sure you're right because of the presence of Teferi 3. Right. This is kind of why even like Alex picked me up from the gym before we like came to get you, and he's like, "Yeah, you might be right about Frilled Mystic actually, just because of Teferi 3." Like, yeah, it's just so awkward sometimes. Like I said, like I agree. It's like amazing sometimes. Like sometimes you get a Frilled Mystic hand that you're so safe. You can never lose. Like it just locks up the game. But then other times it's like you can't really cast it. Like you're just playing it as a 4-mana 3/2. Like,
man, is green-white tokens just the best deck position-wise for this weekend?
Dude, it doesn't lose to mass manipulation.
It doesn't.
They don't care about that at all. It's actually like got an okay mono red matchup. Game 1, post board, it's very good.
Yep.
It has a good control matchup, actually. It's not bad.
Does it? I thought control was like the one.
No, because they're not playing like the Esper decks aren't playing Cry the Carnarium anymore, are they?
Grixis is. And Grixis I think Esper is.
Oh, I thought they were like had moved off Cry.
I looked at some
like
Esper
that was
control lists, and
that's the
Cries,
only downside I think to that deck is it's really bad versus control.
Yeah, but you get Gideon Blackblade now. You just womp them.
Yeah, gotta draw them though.
Just play 4.
I could
just play literally the green white tokens list with 4 Gideon. Shore up your control matchup. What do you want post board? You have like, you don't really have any good options though as green white. That's the problem. Is like, do you have to just splash blue for sideboard cards?
Bant tokens.
Like, how much does it mess up your mana? But then you can swap out. Yeah, but then you can swap out your what's it called? Post board. You can swap out March of the Multitudes for Krasis and counterspells.
Oh yeah.
Bring in Dovin's Vetoes and Krasis to win like fair matchups, or control matchups. And combo.
Yeah, because March sucks against control.
Yeah, March is terrible against control.
Krasis does not suck against control.
Yeah. And you can like kind of guarantee you make your land drops with Flower Flourish, so you'll be okay.
Or
theoretically too, you can play the versions with Tide Taker, so your mono red matchup is quite good. And then your control matchup's better if they try and get you. Then you could theoretically, if you're playing Bant, also have Teferi in the sideboard. Playing blue opens up a lot of options here. But you just want to splash blue because like you want to be playing a bunch of basics for green white because you're playing Gideon and green cards. But yeah, it's possible. You might be right that green white tokens is actually super well positioned. Does that deck care about Drakes? I don't think it does. It just races them, right?
I don't know if it can race them.
I think it can with just Conclave Tribunal, like an Amara on 2 into a like.
Yeah,
if they don't have Lava Coil, they're wrecked. Well, they play Shock. Shock is really good against you.
Yeah, Shock is really good against you.
Shock is so good versus Amara.
And like you can't really do anything against an early, like you can't stop an early Electromancer from sticking around.
Yeah.
And Drake's like is fine kind of spinning its wheels doing nothing, and then they play like a 10-something Drake and you just die before you can kill them.
Yeah, that's true.
And they fiery cannonades post-board. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's fine.
It's probably close.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I just haven't played with
your Bant mid-range matchup has to be good, right? Tokens? Like, it has to be awesome. You just enact your game plan. You just go linear and ignore them. Who cares what they do?
Yeah.
They tap out, you just march. And then you untap and kill them. You just Splinter Twin them. They have to have Frilled Mystic at the right time or they lose.
At the right time. Yeah. Like, if you Splinter Twin them, yeah, they probably can't handle it. But if you're, like, marching and then kind of attacking, I mean...
And, like, New Gideon... not New Gideon. There's, like, different versions you can play, though. I saw some versions playing the new with Johnny that puts all counters on your guys and gains life. Because, like, theoretically at the time, it was when Mono Red won Week 1 SCG. So, like, it is really good there. It gains 3 life or it makes your team huge and puts counters on other planeswalkers. So there are lots of ways to build the deck. But you could theoretically just like, I think that Bant probably can't. I don't think Krasis, because like a lot of these Bant decks now are just ramping to Krasis, right? And planeswalkers. I don't think that strategy is good against March of the Multitudes.
Yeah, they're down on Deputy Detention too, which is like...
Yeah, that's the kicker for you. Yeah, they're all down on Deputy, right? They all moved to Prison Realm. We already talked about this. Not all.
Well,
some, right?
A lot of the decks I've seen are just the same from the SCG pretty much with a few changes.
Yeah.
Because like having a Vivian Champion of the Wilds and like instant speed deputying you at the right time.
Yeah, that's a beating.
You're dead.
Yeah. But like, yeah,
well, maybe you're not dead. They have a 1/3, but
tokens is probably still fine. Yeah, Deputy Detention, confirmed a beating though. You can just play a Danto Vanguard and just beat him down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, it's hard, right? Because like we've entered this like end game of just rock, paper, scissors standard where you can theoretically build your deck to beat anything, but then you're going to lose to something else. And like, you know what I mean?
I just don't know.
But yeah, I just think that you can sort of just pick sideboard cards that's going to be the key for this weekend, going into this weekend for you, is to pick sideboard cards that have multiple uses. I think this is a really, really important lesson that, I think we've mentioned on the podcast before, just generally talking about sideboarding. But I think something worth reiterating, particularly for this weekend at this current sort of section in standard or time in standard, is that I think because of the several playable archetypes that currently exist, and I think are all pretty much vying for tier 1 status, that you need sideboard cards because you only have 15 slots. You have to have sideboard cards that come in multiple matchups. They need to be flexible sideboard cards. So having said that, you're going to end up trading some power in some matchups so that your sideboard is just consistently good. A card that I've been a fan of that I used as an example of this was Dovin Grand Architect. Right? Or Grand Arbiter? What's his
Grand Arbiter.
The one that makes Thopters.
Yeah.
So that card in Bant Pile, like in Bant Trade Binder, whatever you want to call it, and he's Bant mid-range decks. That card comes in out of the sideboard in both aggro and control, where it's fantastic in both matchups, right? I think it is. Like on turn 2, if you have like Llanowar Elf into Dovin, you're just going to ult it versus control. How are they?
Yeah.
What are you going to contempt it? Sure. Like then all my other planeswalkers are fine. You know what I mean? You don't care if it gets contempted. The Thopters have already done. They're already so annoying. You don't have to commit to the board anymore. They're already forced to Wrath because you have early Thopters. Versus aggro, it makes blockers and gains life. Right? Like it's a card that is incredibly flexible. It's not a good top deck late versus control, but a 3-mana walker that makes 3 mana to make 2 1/1 flyers is like already pretty good. But with a mana dork on 1 and a Dovin on turn 2, you can ult it on turn 4 if you just play another guy.
Yeah.
And ulting it is looking at 10 cards and choosing 3. Like it's over. The control can't come back from that. Right? So it's a free win, theoretically, out of the sideboard sometimes. And it's good in multiple matchups. Like it's not a haymaker. It's not like, lights out versus control, but it is really good against them. But more importantly, it's a sideboard card that comes in versus them and aggro. I don't think it's like a tier 1 sideboard card. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that it's flexible and you can get rid of bad cards for a card that comes in multiple matchups. I think I only had one in the sideboard, but there are other sort of similar cards that do this, right? Like Time Wipe comes in a bunch of matchups. Disdainful Stroke can come in a bunch of matchups. You know what I mean? Cards like this. I think a copy of Kefnet, if you bring in all these like spells, or like, like another god, just another god, like another threat should be in the sideboard almost, like some sort of mid-range breaker. Maybe Ronus, like.
Is it time as Bant to abandon Disdainful Stroke for Spell Pierce?
Yeah, maybe. I was always a big Spell Pierce fan, right? Still have
it might be time.
Yeah, I think
allows you to hit your opponent's Teferis, and if your opponent's playing Teferi, what's your Disdainful Stroke do, right?
Yeah, nothing. Disdainful Stroke's kind of gross with Teferi. Like it looks so bad, whereas Spell Pierce is insane. Speaking of which, I just Spell Pierced somebody back to the Stone Age last night in Legacy. This is off topic.
You went and played Legacy last night?
Yeah, I wanted to try out Narset in Legacy.
And?
I mean, it's just Leovold. People brainstorm and then put 2 cards back. It's like people just forget what it does, right? I wanted to go play Teferi and I forgot copies though. That was the whole point of me going to play Legacy. I was going to play Blue-White Stoneblade with Teferi Narset. I forgot my copies at home, but I 4-0'd.
Nice.
But I Spell Pierced an Ugin, like the new one.
Yeah.
I Spell Pierced the new Karn. The Karn from Dominaria. What else did I Spell Pierce? Man, I was just tagging Planeswalkers nonstop because I played Mono Red Prison, which that deck now is like, you know how before we were like, I don't know how I feel about it in Legacy?
Yeah.
Dude, like now it just plays Karn, like Mycosynth Lattice, sorry.
Is this set, like, has there been a set that has affected Eternal formats more than this one?
No.
Like, think about it. Between Modern and Legacy, like, I can't think of a set that has more cards go into those formats than this one.
Wasn't the like Cons era like insane?
Didn't the Fatal Push set put a bunch of stuff in too? Or was it just Push and that changed a lot?
It's just Push, I think.
Yeah, like
Push was a big deal.
Because think about all the cards. Like, I bet if we go to the 5-0s from like the Modern.
Yeah, pull it up. I'm curious.
Let's.
Oh, well, like most played cards though in Modern are all just the 1-drops, right? Same in Legacy. Like if you look at like most played cards, yeah, it's all the Wait, Remand is the third most played card in these lists?
Wait, 10 racks?
Wait.
That's a Davriel deck.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. So
Yeah, that's a
there's
known thing.
Davriel. There's a
Oh, Blast Zone is like everywhere too.
Blast Zone. Yeah.
Blast Zone is everywhere in Legacy.
Yeah.
And-
Karn is now in a bunch of decks.
Yeah.
You've got what's the name?
Well, you're just looking at Modern too right now, and it's like, yeah, stuff's everywhere, right? But the most played cards,
Teferi.
yeah, the most played cards we know, right, are like going to be Lightning Bolt, Path Exile, Surgical Extraction, Serum Visions, Faithless Looting.
Yeah,
all
the
the one.
staples.
No, it's just all 1-drops.
Yeah.
Like that's the only, that's the defining feature. Noble Hierarch. Like,
There's a Casamina that made its way into Modern.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Wow.
But like, yeah, maybe this set is the most impactful actually, because like Blast Zone is everywhere in Legacy. In all the Mud prison decks, they all play it.
That makes sense.
Also, Lands plays it now, because before they were playing Engineered Explosives as a way to beat all the main deck back to basics that people were playing. Now they're just playing Blast Zone, which I think is worse. I was trying to explain this to somebody last night. Well, your Blast Zone comes in and you tap it to put counters on, and then it doesn't untap. So I don't know how you're beating. Like I was trying to explain this, and they were like, "No, it's still really good." I was like, "Okay, like, right, whatever, I guess." But I don't think that's what it's there for. It's there for like Delver, right? Like, so you don't lose to things like that. It's whatever, but yeah, it's like really affecting Legacy. Like I played against so many Karn, the great creators, last night at Legacy. I think two of the rounds I played against, there was 4 copies in their list. You know what I mean? Like,
Wow.
Yeah, I think
Mono
that
Red Prison
card's
is playing
really
4,
good in Legacy right now.
and then the Mud deck was playing 4. I got them all. I got the Mud deck with the 12 post deck with back to basics main both games.
God,
Got him, and Spell Pierce this card.
All these people are just trying to have fun with new cards, and you're playing blue Magic.
Playing back to basics and Spell Pierce. Just being an absolute dirtbag. Yeah. Played against White Weenie, Spell Pierce to turn 1 Aether Vial. Like I won the die roll. I was like, I knew he was playing like White Weenie, and I just thought for a sec, I like could have pondered, and I was like, Island go. And like Aether Vial, I was like, Pogger, Spell Pierce it. Like,
there's also
and he's
this,
just like, he just tanks. He's like, oh crap. I'm like, what? He's like, my hand is so bad without that file.
there's this new mono blue control deck that plays Narset in Modern that's been 5-0ing a bunch as well.
Yeah. Whoa, mono blue. Whoa.
Well, okay, this one.
There's an Ocean Thief.
Whoa. It has the
This
greatest.
one has some black cards.
One of the all-time greatest cards in Magic, Notion Thief. The plagiarizer himself.
Just every time you cast a card that you draw off him, you just cite your opponent.
Yeah, exactly. And as you said, brainstorm.
Man,
Commandeer.
yeah,
JC Pete's.
disrupting Shoal.
Yeah, there's some wild decks. This format, this set is incredibly impactful. Having high power standard is actually awesome when the colors are balanced. Like when other colors get to have, you know what I mean? When it's not a colorless set, it's pretty good. Life's pretty good.
I guess it makes sense that this has been so impactful, and why it's kind of so hard to figure out what's going on in standard is there's so many cheap, powerful, but niche planeswalkers printed.
Like,
Just so many weird oddball off effects.
yeah, exactly. Like, is Drixit is Bolas Dragon God like modern playable if Teferi is? Like,
Maybe.
I wonder about this.
Untapping when you have like
Untapping is the reason that Teferi is so busted, though.
Yeah, untapping when it's like 2 1-mana interactive spells being represented is like a lot.
Dude, Karn just went and got a coercive portal. You know what that card does?
No,
Look that shit up. Oh. Watch my language. But yeah. Just like the stuff Karn can do in Legacy is so funny, man. Like, and people have moved to playing these like Grim Monolith Voltaic Key decks so they can literally just like Ugin or Karn you on turn 1.
Will of the Council.
Yeah,
At the
that's
beginning of
like-
your
that's good.
upkeep, starting with you, each player votes for Carnage or Homage. If Carnage gets more votes, sacrifice Coercive Portal and destroy all non-land permanents. If Homage gets more votes or the vote is tied, draw a card.
Yeah, so it's like it's basically just you get to draw an extra card every single turn. And then if things still get out of control and you're still going to lose, you can just blow up everything. It's like so safe and good versus like the Delver. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, and they can just tutor it because it's not a main deckable card, but it's a card that can like get you out of horrible situations or press an advantage that you need to grind through.
Like
Like
how do you ever resolve the destroy all non-land permanents? Because it requires both people to vote for it, right?
that's it. No, if there's a tie.
No, the draw card wins on ties.
Oh, is that what it was?
I think so.
Oh, right. Yeah, sorry, I misread. Yeah.
So
just-
regardless, you get to draw a card every
draw
turn.
a card every
Yeah,
turn.
it's pretty good.
Yeah. I always just think they're always the one-sided ones because the only ones I ever play with is Council's Judgment, which is just
You do what you want with it.
you
Yeah.
can do whatever you want with it. I always forget that there's like other versions. Oh, let me tell you though, Palace Jailer plus Narset. They like steal your Monarch token. Yeah,
Doesn't
whatever,
matter.
dude. And like they have to do damage to you. So like if they're just gonna attack your Narset, like you still
what
don't
you-
lose your
what are
Monarch
you gonna do?
tokens. Like
Yeah.
you're just like,
Wow.
yeah, whatever, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, PJ and Narset.
Yeah. I think Narset and Karn were the two most impactful cards for
Eternal.
Eternal formats.
Yeah.
And Karn like might actually be too good.
Yeah. Somebody else was saying they think Karn might get banned. I wouldn't be surprised just because like it's a one-sided Stony Silence that tutors and like
It does just so much.
yeah, and it costs 4.
Yeah.
Speaking of things that should be banned, what happened in that Neoform deck? I haven't heard anything about it.
I don't know.
There
Probably
hasn't
wasn't
really
actually
been
good.
any modern tournaments.
Yeah, and there hasn't been any modern tournaments,
yeah,
so
okay.
we'll find out.
Yeah.
You know what else is hilarious? I watched somebody blow up their opponent's Chalice of the Void with their Karn. Because Chalice costs XX.
Yeah, you turn it into a 0/0.
Yeah. And the guy like played out his Chalice, like, oh, like Chalice on 3 or something. I don't know, like some, because the guy
Yeah.
was playing, it was like mono red prison versus 12 post.
Mhm.
And the guy, like, I think he chaliced on 3 so that he wouldn't get blood mooned, because then he just racked. And then the guy just like plussed his Karn on his Chalice. He's like, oh yeah. Yeah. And like bins it because you can do it to your opponents. Why? Why can Karn turn your opponent's artifacts into creatures?
So I actually like, because I complained about this a couple episodes ago, that a lot of their design from the most recent past sets like limit your targeting options. It's always like removal spells target your opponent's things, or like. But now, yeah, there's a bunch of these planeswalkers in particular don't have those restrictions. Maybe it's just a real like realty space on the cards thing, but like, yeah, Karn can target your opponent's artifacts. 3-mana Vivian can give your opponent's creatures reach and vigilance. They kind of removed a lot of these things. Like even I was playing a limited game and I had a Zhang, the guy that puts counters and turns them into dorks. My opponent played like some three power flyer that was going to kill me, but I could put the counter from Zhang on my opponent's creature and then exile it with the Wanderer. Like they removed a lot of these restrictions to allow plays like that, which I like.
Yeah, that is cool actually. Like it is cool that you can ding your opponent's Chalice. He's Karn, the great creator. He should be able to create more artifacts.
I brought you into this world. I can take you out of it.
Oh man, we've been talking about Standard for a long time.
Well, it's like
It's
a
a
big
huge
weekend
format.
for it. And we've kind of took some time off to, talking about the PT the Mythic Championship. And
Get it right.
I can't, man. And all these other stuff, right? So
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like there's just a lot to talk about going into this weekend. Like we know some of the listeners too from our wonderful, lovely Discord community will be probably at Syracuse. There's a bunch of other people traveling. Like it's a big weekend, and it's also it feels like this was like a defining turn for Standard. Like what no one's sure what's going to happen and where it's going to go, and it's like really fresh in the format. So yeah.
If you're going to be at Syracuse this weekend, hit us up on Twitter at DWC Podcast 1. We'd love to meet some listeners and hang out. Let us know what's good to do in Syracuse.
You know what is good to do in Syracuse?
What?
Stay in the bear cave that you won't let us stay in.
Oh man,
I'm so mad about this.
Go on.
I am frustrated.
So I'm looking up Airbnbs, right?
And he just ignores the best one.
We had to change our Airbnb because LP is coming now, so there's 4 of us instead of 3. I had one booked; it was too small, max 3 guests, so had to upgrade. So I'm looking at places, and I send this one. Cam's like, I don't know, it seems a little expensive, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, well, I mean, it's the cheapest one I could find that's like close to the venue. So if you can find something better that isn't a dumpster, which I added, I'm like, it's the only good one that isn't a dumpster.
No, you didn't. You didn't say that.
I did say
Okay,
that.
sure, whatever.
I did say that because I had seen
were
this
lying.
one that he linked. And then he's looking through, can't find anything. And he's like, wait, this one. He just links it. And it's like,
It is awesome.
it's this picture, like,
Go on.
it's like some,
It is an unfinished
Families-
basement. Like it's heated through bare hot water pipes, but it's got this like, it reminds you of like the unfinished basement at your grandparents' place. And like, it's actually some grandma that lives upstairs. She seems super friendly. She said like, you can come have coffee with us on the porch. You have a back porch all to yourself. So it's in this like sweet basement. There's like a bunch of appliances. It's like 4 beds and a couch and like something else. You get a whole kitchen, like a laundry room, and it's decorated. The whole thing is covered in like bear plushies. It's all like grizzly bear themed.
Why did you not book
Exactly.
this, dude? What is wrong with you?
And like the
It
part
was-
that I'm most
was
upset
horrible.
about is that like it's awesome. And sure, I get that maybe maybe it reminds me of my grandparents' place, so I like it, but other people wouldn't. But then Benson and LP said it looked sweet too, and he still ignored us.
Oh, these guys are all memeing on me. It was actually like horrible.
No, it's awesome.
It
I'll
was
send
so-
you the link. This place
okay,
is
I'll be
nuts.
the judge. I'll be
And
the judge, and I'll report back next week.
I'll show you once we finish recording. It's real bad.
No, it is awesome. And also, your place, it was like the last 2 guests said that this place was spotless. Bear Cave, last 9.
Dude, you got to stay at weird places, actually. In my opinion. So,
Exactly.
like, that's the thing, though. I'm biased because, like, I went to some Airbnbs, like, solo, like, traveling solo. Or who did I stay with? One time, like, my ex and I, like, even I went out to this, like, crazy place. It was at this, like, weird farm, and it was, like, an old barn they'd turned into, like a bedroom or, like,
Yeah.
a loft above the barn thing. And we were like,
Okay.
oh my God, this is gonna be weird. And it was incredible, dude. It was so sweet, like such a cool place to stay. It was like outside of the city where we were traveling, and like literally someone's like barn house on their farm, and it was like amazing. And they were like, yeah, you can just like have a fire and like here's a bunch of wood, and like came out to like see if we need anything. Like it was awesome. But
Yeah, the fact that it's like a friendly grandma that lives ahead on top of the bear cave, you know it's going to be like full of snacks.
on top of the bear cave.
Dude, this place is awesome.
Dude, some of the Airbnb with the snacks. Remember that one the 3 of us stayed in Montreal? That was
Yeah,
like
just had that bowl of candy for us.
that lady who like
Yeah.
you were like trying to talk to her, and she,
Yeah, there was a definite language barrier.
Yeah.
She spoke French and Chinese. I speak neither of those.
yeah. But then like she was just like, oh, there's a bunch of candy. we get
Yeah.
up and there's this like that was the biggest bowl of candy I've ever like seen at a place. It was just this like
Yeah, it's just like
gigantic like salad bowl, like someone having like a big barbecue would bring one of those huge salad bowls of
no,
candy.
it's literally like it was Halloween the next day or something, and they were just ready
Yeah.
to go. But it was all for us.
We ate it all. I think we ate the entire
Yeah,
thing
we did.
over the course of the weekend.
Man, that was a good Airbnb.
Yeah, it was awesome because like, yeah, it was just perfect.
Anyway,
I'm so upset we're not staying in the bear cave.
Okay, I'm gonna see you after the show. You should have just pulled it up during this time when I was talking, so I could give a live hot take of it. Because now listeners are gonna be waiting in anticipation. Make
Yeah,
them
just pull it up.
quiver with
We need his live take. The
anticipation.
pictures look so awesome. Like,
oh man,
People are gonna be like on Airbnb listening to this episode, like googling this. What are these idiots talking about?
let me find it.
But yeah. If you come, so LPs come. Yeah, if you travel with the DWC though, like it's always a good time. It's always it can be a bit of a risky adventure though if you're not hardened.
we kind of, so we,
I don't know.
we
I
went to
don't know.
Niagara.
I don't want to say like any names. Or,
No, we went to Niagara, and like one of our friends joined us for some drinks one evening, and like we had the drinks, and then we woke up the next morning and played a bunch of Magic, and then drove back home that evening. And then that was his plan as well, but he didn't drive home until the next day because he was just hungover all Sunday.
Yeah, he was just wrecked. Yeah, it happens if you come out with the
not this
DWC on occasion. We've been known to. Yeah, my strat worked. Hey, my usual traveling strat cam of just asking, take me to the worst bar.
Oh, yeah.
like where it's like a
Okay.
dive bar.
Dude, look at this place,
This is it. All right.
Okay, this already looks incredible.
right?
Is that kid smoking a dart?
Yeah, who knows?
All right.
Okay, keep going. Keep going.
Look how homey
Dude,
it
this
looks.
is awesome.
It looks amazing.
Are you kidding me?
Like it looks so comfortable. There's like you have so much space. There's a couch. Like the ceiling's unfinished, and like
There's just a random thing hanging. Yeah,
it just looks like a cottage.
Yeah, no, this place is awesome. And
have-
you'd be able to sleep in. Well, you can't sleep in. It's a Magic event, but like, oh, this place looks awesome.
Right. There's like I'm so mad that we're not staying here.
Dude, this place is hype. I don't know what you're talking
If
about.
it's still available, you should rebook because like it's 3 against 1 here,
You gotta be kidding.
and it's half price.
Dude, look at that thing. I will say, looking at this thing, if there's a fire in that place, you guys are all dead. There's like no windows. It's like definitely against code. Oh, I don't know how the United States works, but in Canada, like you can't stay in basement. Like you can't have bedrooms in basements that have like certain size windows, and like that place definitely. I love that. Also, that this old nice grandma just posted pictures of deer on her front lawn as like
and like events
advertising like
happening
events
nearby,
happening
yeah.
around the city. Like if there's a picture of a tiger. There's waterfalls. Like she just has like tourist stuff around the Syracuse area.
Yeah.
There's a random gazebo. This place is awesome. She's probably the best. Yeah, I'm with Cam. You blew it. How much was it a night?
like $55 a night.
That's amazing. amazing.
Right.
How did you not take
$55 a night for 4 guests, and we're paying like $150 a night for a house with a gym we're not going to use.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, I'm aware you don't know because you booked the wrong Airbnb.
Welcome to the DWC
I just
Airbnb
didn't-
reviews. If you have a wacky Airbnb for us to stay in, we'll stay in it.
All right. Thank you all for joining the club
I
this
just
week.
don't understand.
Make sure, as always, you check out wizardtower.com for all your Magic single needs. Hit us up in Syracuse if you're going to be there. If you want to get in contact with us, you can find us on Facebook, the Disorganized Wizard Club Podcast, on Twitter, at DWC Podcast 1. If you want to support the show and join the Discord, patreon.com/DWC Podcast. All the happenings there. Got some sweet little benefits for patrons, and our next stretch goal is DWC t-shirts. Check it out, patreon.com/DWC Podcast. And however you listen to the show, whether it's Podbean, iTunes, any podcast app, Google Play, leave a review, rate the podcast, share it with your friends. Everything helps this thing keep growing and bring it to new listeners. We'll catch you all next week.
There's just no way I'm going to play well in Syracuse knowing I could have slept in the bear cave.